Right.
All right. I wanted to know, how can we explain the existence of the soul without using a religious reference, right? And like I was saying, the reason it came about is because more and more we're getting people who are, I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm spiritual, right? And it's like the spiritual thing is a new religion now, right? So as far as it goes for something like the spirit, I just use the reference of the Kirlian photography, right? I use something like that to explain the existence of the spirit. All right. But when it comes down to explain the existence of the soul without using a religious reference, I have a problems with that. So in light of like I'm saying, coming across people who basically stepping away from quote unquote institutionalized religion, just to be able to explain the existence of the soul.
That's a long question. All right, that's a good question though. All right, the first problem is the word that we got to go into. How do you spell this? R-I, how do you spell this word again?
Well, spirit or soul?
Spirit.
S-E-I-R-I-T.
Oh, I know it was something. I-R what?
I-T.
That's it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I-T, I got
Really,
you. And soul. All right, this is the problem that what happened, and this is the master teacher knew this was going to be a problem. He wrote it in 1972, 73, I think. It was called Eternal Life of the Deaf. And on the cover of Eternal Life of Death, Pop had a ankh with a crescent underneath the bottom of it. You know what I'm saying? Which we know in ancient times is eternal life. So what happened is, we know this word is Spanish. Well, and this is Latin, right? We know this word right here is supposed to be wind. And they said this one is what? Breath. Y'all remember that, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And what happened is in 1999, maybe 2000, Pop brought the book back out called Eternal Life After Death. And what is soul and spirit. And when you go into the book, you got to remember, before these terms were used, there were other terms used before it. The word for spirit was the word nafish. Nafish, if I can spell it, I think it's like nafish. And then you had the word ruh or ruach, which is for soul. You hear me?
Right.
Then you had this term that go in ancient times as ka, and then you had the word ba.
Oh.
Right.
So when the white man or the Makasus was translating the Egyptian hieroglyphs, they had ran into a problem. Ka and Ba, they couldn't define what it was because it was something that we experienced. You know what I'm saying? Pop said you have three ways to prove a fact: evidence, experience, and reason. Because they never experienced what a Ba is because they don't have one. So what they did is they said, you know what? We're going to give it an equivalent. Equivalent is not the right term to refer to Ka and Ba. You hear me? So what they did is they said, let's find a word for it that, we use the word spiritus, which is the Latin word for to breathe. And we use the word soul, which is the Latin word for wind. And this is why in the religious world, when they start translating with spirit and soul, this is where the discrepancy comes from, or the confusion is because people say, oh, God blew in man's nostril the breath of life and he became a living soul. Wouldn't that be living spirit? More better, right? Now, if you read a book that Pop wrote down, the best way to explain this is in a book called The Prism. You hear me? Because The Prism talks about how when you breathe in the breath, right? You're taking in what? And remember Pop said, if you see, Pop was breaking it down in stages through the different schools we were going through. What was the class that Pop wrote down in 92?
New Covenant?
The New Covenant, and it was called the Elohim. And Pop was talking about the light in you, which is also another tape that came through the Nubian Hebrew school that we was going through. The light, let me put this on here also. You hear me? So light is energy, right?
Right.
Now watch this. He said the light in you. When you say light, what type of light are you talking about? Is it electrical light?
No.
Is it a gas light?
No.
or is it sun or fire?
Right.
This is why Bob put out an actual fact not too long ago called the God of light and fire. You hear me? So we put the word fire in here. You hear me? So now we're dealing with light, fire. We're dealing with soul, breath, wind. In order for the light to stay lit, it needs what?
Oxygen.
And you breathe in oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
That's why Pop said inside here, this is called a what?
Solar plexus.
And you look at the word soul, you get the word soul or soul, which is what? The Latin word for sun.
Sun.
And you got to remember, back in a certain Greek language, they spell soul or solar. You hear me? Like you got the word, Bible broke down one time, you got the word color, right? Like written like this, right? Or you got color written like this.
Put the U in, yeah.
You got solar written like this. Then you got solar, and it's written like that. You hear me? And we know in the Holy Tablets that Sol was one of the rulers of Om, which is the biggest sun at the time where our universe and solar system came from. Our galaxies and the solar system. And his name was Sol, and his mate was named Arena. And when you put the two names together, you got Sol Arena. You hear me? So now, I'm breathing in oxygen, right? And it's positive the light is in you. This is called the solar plex. He said, you breathe on, you feel heat. You give off what?
Carbon.
Now, inside the book called The Prison, which is that Patarak, it breaks down how this term is called energy or emotion. You hear me? Energy, emotion. When Papa talk about energy, emotion, we know light can be what? A form of energy also too, right or wrong?
Right.
So when you breathe in oxygen, that oxygen goes into your lungs, and what happens in the lungs? Anybody know what happens in the lungs? If I read the prison book, it breaks down what happens. Pop said years ago, before the prison book came out, it's in the prison book, but Pop also said that the gas goes into your lungs, and your lungs convert the gas into a liquid. Then that liquid goes through your whole bloodstream to get what? Oxygen to your body. And what happened is, that oxygen will start a thing called what?
Respiration.
No.
Circulatory.
What does fire do?
Burn.
That's why we say, oh, that burns calories. You hear me? So it's burning. So when it's burning, the fire that's in you is burning it, right? It builds up what?
Carbon.
No, it builds up pressure.
Oh, okay.
That's why they say, oh, he got low blood pressure. He got high blood pressure. Because that's what's happening inside your body. Your body is a nuclear power plant. Mm-hmm. It works on the same principle as uranium. When you take the uranium and you demerge it inside salt water, the uranium rise will cause the water to what?
Boil.
And what comes out of the boil?
Heat.
What do we call it? It's another word for it.
But heat.
It starts with an S.
Steam.
There you go. Now, when you got steam is dealing with what? Propulsion. This is why in the industrial age, they would take coal and put it in the furnace to build up what? Steam power. Steam engine. That's why they call it steam pump. You hear me? So the steam, the pressure from the steam will actually causes the mechanisms to start moving from the pressure of high pressure gas.
Right.
Which you call steam, right? And it causes the machines to move. Your body works in the same principle when you read the book called The Prison, because the burning goes into your body and it burns and the pressure builds up. And this is what we call energy of motion, because the pressure is causing you to move. This is how you're able to move and move. This is from the oxygen in your body. And when you stop breathing, you stop moving. It's inside the prison. You hear me? So this is what happens with the confusion about soul and spirit. Because we know soul is what? The sun energy. But remember, in ancient Egypt, the Ba will be the oversoul, or what we call ether. You hear me? Mm-hmm. And when you look up the word ether in Greek, it means what? Light. You hear me? And sometimes they say what? Fire. You hear me? So what happened is, everything is going around in circles because they can't explain the terms, because we never gave them the definitions. This is why one of the reasons why they said, "Oh, we don't know what Nawapian is." What does Nawapo mean? I said, we're not going to tell you, because if you were first, you would know what Nawapo is. But if you're not first, that means you don't know what it means. So that means that you're not the original person on the planet, because you got definition for every word, but you can't break down what soul and spirit is because you're still using breath and wind. You hear me?
Right.
But we know that the word spirit is what you're calling energy and motion of you being able to live in this physical plane as an energy being to keep this body moving. Because that's why Pop said that when you die, your body becomes what?
Spirit.
It becomes cold. Because it doesn't have no heat. No heat, you're cold because there's the light is inside you. You hear me? You breathe out carbon dioxide, you breathe in oxygen. Same thing when you light a match. You hear me? When you light a match, the match needs oxygen to stay what? Lit, right? And then it gives off what? Carbon. You know what I'm saying? So that's the same principle that human beings have. You hear me? We are suns. You know what I'm saying? We are a physical manifestation of the sun. What we call the sun is what? Everybody know what sun is?
No.
Huh? But it's called dark what?
Matter.
No, it's dark energy.
Dark energy.
Meaning that you have, say this is space. Space just means it's a space. It has no form enough. It's just space. And this space is called dark matter. But then dark matter, you have these things. What are these called?
Stars.
Those are suns.
Suns, okay.
What is a star?
Sun.
From a distance. It's still a sun.
Sun, right.
So if you have suns, but it's not light. It's dark.
That's right.
Because outside of Earth's atmosphere, you can't see nothing. And NASA don't even want to tell you that you can't see the stars outside of Earth because they make billions of dollars for Star Wars, Star Trek, Starship Trooper. So if they tell you that space is dark, matter of fact, Captain Kirk actually went on a space flight and he said all he saw was death. And the people said, "What you mean by that?" It was pitch black. So why? Think about this. Who ever been in Colorado? You know what I'm saying? You ever seen Colorado nice? It's like the sky is lit up like Christmas trees, right?
Yeah.
Not like over here, right or wrong?
It's a little different. I lived in the West Coast.
Because you're in the altitude is higher.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that means that the closer the higher you up, the more visible the stars are. So wouldn't the stars be even more visible if you on the spacecraft that's thousands of miles, a shuttle outside in space where the satellites is at, and these guys are in orbit doing walks and repairing space shuttles outside with cords, and you can't see no stars? Come on. So something's not right. That's why the master teacher always said, when you look at the globe, you have 7 spheres. And what happened is this sun, these little things are called what? Rays, right? How do you spell ray? R-A-Y, right? What's another way to spell ray in our tongue? R-E, right?
Yeah.
What does ray mean?
A beam? I don't know.
It means sun.
Oh, Ray.
Yeah.
Is that the other? Yeah. Okay.
No, you see, you said a beam.
Yeah, because you pointed at.
But that beam comes from the sun. Like this light is illuminating the room, right or wrong?
Sure.
That's the beam, right or wrong?
Sure.
So it's still the sun. It's just the illumination of the sun reaching you from millions or billions of miles away. So when people say sun ray, no, sun. You hear me? Still a sun. Could we say the word sun in our language as ray?
Right.
Or we say ray. You hear me?
Yeah,
So what happened is this right here travels to Earth. Millions of light years away, right? 93 million, right? And it hits the planet's
The friction.
7 spheres.
The friction.
What's the thing called when something comes to the Earth atmosphere? It's called what? No. What's the term?
Extraterrestrial.
No. I said when something comes to the Earth's atmosphere, it's called re-entry. And when you re-enter it, why do you think NASA said we got to put special type of what? Shields and something like,
Coating
on
on
the
the spaceship,
coating on the
yeah.
spaceship, or pick the gold in the window, the glass, so it reflects the radiation. Look at the word radiation, radiate. The word ray still in there again. You hear?
So,
Hold up, I'm not finished yet.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah. the holy question though. So when the sun hit the rays here, this is pitch black. You can't see this in space. It's darkness. It's dark energy.
Right.
But the energy hits this atmosphere, and because you, as a human being, is on this side of the spheres, what you're seeing is the re-entry of radiation hitting the atmosphere, and it causes friction, and friction produces heat.
Right.
That's why they say, "Oh, space is cold." How can it be cold when you're out there closer to the sun than you are on Earth? It should be hot, right?
Because it's a vacuum.
So is the sun really hot like they say it is, or is this energy? And then when it hits something else, it causes heat. You hear me? So what happened is, when we explain in soul and spirit, we got to go back to the terms Ka, the oversoul, what we existed as in what you call the elements. Ether 1, Ether 2, Ether 3, and that's on the other side of the periodic chart. And we call that no things. That means nothing.
Right.
When we look at nothing, we say, "Oh, there's just nothing there." How can nothing be there when you're inside of what? Dark matter. You hear me? How can nothing be there? It's still there. It's just dark matter. You call it nothing because it doesn't have weight. And because it doesn't have weight, it's nothing. But once it shows up as weight, we call it a what?
Something.
Some of things. You hear me? And then later on, the new slang for it becomes something. You hear me? So what happened is you got a chart. Ether, right? Like our master teacher wrote back in the day, Ether 1. And then you have hydrogen. You hear me? This board is moving. I can't. You got hydrogen, right? Now, on this side, this is called the state of, remember saying the old Ansar doctrine? Allah created a state of nothingness, right?
Put something in.
But that was talking about the circle and the square, and without the circle and square, it produces what you call the hydrogen. So on this side, we call this existence. You hear me? Existence, right? And then on this side, we call what? Creation. Because you can say, "Oh, the Adam and Eve story, they was first," but then remember, in the old doctrine of the Ansars, they said Adam was created on the spiritual realm, which would be existence, or the state of nothingness, before he became a physical being in the state of creation. So what happened is, when we deal with nothing, you're dealing with the soul. When you deal with something, you're dealing with the spirit. Because the spirit exists in a physical form to be able to maneuver in this realm called the flesh as matter, in order for it to be able to exist in the physical realm. And what happened is the soul is the other side of the higher, the higher portion of yourself, right? That you call ether or anak, you know what I'm saying? But when you come on this side, you say the word for it. What's the word for soul in our language? Ba'a. You hear me? Because you're dealing with two different states or something. You hear me? Existence and creation. And sometimes it's hard to explain soul and spirit because they're going by a religious, which is breath and wind. But when you go into the whole thing of the quantum mechanics or the quantum science of it, it all goes back into what we were before we came here in the physical form and became the blueprint.
I just sent it to you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying? So this is how this is becoming so confusing to people. When you try to explain to a spiritual person, they say, "Well, I'm spiritual." I said, "Okay, are you evil? Are you good?" Because when you say you're spiritual, you're already trying to make it seem like spiritual is positive. No, I said, "Are you a disagreeable being or agreeable being?" Because the devil's spiritual too. Because when you sit there, sit there and say, "I'm spiritual." You know what? I'm about to go home and what? Chant. The devil chant too. You hear me? I'm gonna go home and light some incense and get the armies in the room. The devil got incense too. I'm gonna go home and grab my thicker beads and start chanting the names. The devil got beads too. They call them rosaries. You hear me? So everything that we got, they got their version of it. They like incense. They got rituals. Just like the master teacher said. He said that the Christians will have communion and said, we're going to eat the flesh and drink the blood of Jesus. He said, but the devil worshippers are more devoted than y'all, because they actually eat the flesh and drink the blood. You hear me? They were more real with it. You just acting it out. They doing the real ritual. And then you got to ask yourself the question, where are you getting the ritual from? Because it's the same thing that God does. So how can you say that's devil worship when the devil was taught by God? So the devil does the same thing that God does. When Moses had a piece of wood in his hand, he said, let my people go. Threw it on the ground. And that piece of wood turned into what, y'all? Snake. Then Pharaoh said, oh, that's a nice trick you got there. Yeah, go handle him. The two guys came out. They had their sticks, threw it on the ground. And what happened, y'all? And then what happened after that?
They ate his.
That's what everybody remember. Y'all skipping the main point of the story. Yeah, Moses' snake ate both their snakes. Now you just confirmed something. Let's go back to it. We're going to go back into it now. Now we're going to go back to it. So Moses had a piece of wood that has no corpuscles, no skin, no muscle, no blood, no fangs, no eyelids, no eye, no eyes, whatever, right? And it turned into a living organism, a piece of wood. And when you ask a Christian that, they say, oh, that's the miracle of God, right? But then how did these two guys turn their pieces of wood into a snake? The same thing. Because you sat there and just admitted that Moses' snake ate both the snakes, right or wrong? They didn't eat no two pieces of wood.
That's right.
Not according to what you just said. You didn't even take in consideration of the wood turning into a living organism. All you cared about is that Moses ate two snakes. His snake ate two snakes. So if his snake ate two snakes, that means that the Egyptian had the power to transmutate wood into a living organism also. Right. You said that's the power of God. Then you ask the Christian, how did they do it? Oh, that's the devil. Oh, it is? When? So Abraham went to the devil's land and almost got his wife took in. Then God sent the tribe of Israel to the land of the devils, you know, for 400 years and being bondage to them. Then he said, let me hide my only begotten son so they don't kill him, which is the Greeks or the Romans, you hear me? And I'm going to hide him in Egypt, which is supposed to be the land of the devil. No, it never said the Egyptians were devils. You said that. You can't explain how these high priests are able to turn wood into a snake. Now let the master teacher break it down, because Moses was raised in Egypt and knew the same powers. They got the same powers. That's the only logical explanation from it. But you want to sit and say these guys were devils, and that's the power of the devil. No, don't run that on us. We too sharp for that. You hear me? So this is what happens when you don't have the right terms. This is why Pop said we got to learn the language, because we go by what they say. It gets off and confusing. People say, well, I only understand what the Bible said, but the Bible still don't tell you what the spirit and soul is. It just tell you that, but we have to go into the quantum or before the creation to actually understand what soul is. And your soul is what you were created in the other realm before you came here in this physical realm. And what happened is inside the book called Eternal Life After Death, or Soul, Spirit, it breaks down how the soul is like the shell, and it covers, and the spirit is within it is the skin of the spirit. And it transports the soul into this realm. And we know that when you read the book called The Dimensional Shift, it says in order for you to make it to the shift, you have to have a what? So that he said the Makasu woman, which is 6 ether, right? She can make the jump, but only because she'll have to have sex with a black man to do it. And by her doing that, she'll actually get a boost so she can make the jump. He said, because inside the dimensional shift, it said that at one time the Makasus had souls. Do anybody know how they lost their soul? And that's inside the book called Bigfoot. Right. When Pop said that the beings were eating the Pleiadians created a Caucasian earthling because the Anunnaki and the Draconians were eating them. Mm-hmm. And they said, look, we're tired of being eaten. We don't want to be your chicken. You hear me? So what we're going to do is we're going to create another chicken for you, Popeyes. You hear me? You don't have to eat the KFC no more. You hear me? What we're going to do is we're going to make some Popeyes, and we're going to make better spices. You hear me? And we're going to have them eat all the stuff that y'all like to eat. Everybody in this room right now, name a spice that they like when they cook food. Who cook food? Raise their hand. Whoever ever cooked food before? What's the main spice that you put on your food? Everybody give me different ones. Salt. And what's another one? Garlic. And what else? Onion. Curry. Pepper. What else?
Quarter wheat.
She got to come from Mexico. That we don't even know about. But anyway, y'all like those spices, right? When you eat, have you ever ate fish without no seasoning? Yes or no? Anybody have done that?
No, got to have.
I have. Have you ever ate chicken without no seasonings?
Sadly.
Huh?
Sadly.
What does it taste like?
Plain.
And
Nothing.
you don't, right or wrong. So basically, you didn't fall in love with the chicken.
You fell in love with the season.
The seasoning.
Facts.
True.
That's what the reptilian like. They like their food to be seasoned. Whoever ate something that was spoiled, yes, it's something that was rotten by accident.
Yeah.
I did.
Oh yeah.
How did it taste?
Let me tell you something, honey. So growing up,
Keep it short, Joe, because you know you're like stocking right.
Yeah, right.
okay, I'll keep it short. So I was growing up vegetarian. My mom and dad had a chicken sandwich in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I was so hungry, so I went down and ate this. Then my mama said, whoever ate that, it was molded, so good for you. I'm not gonna punch nobody. You ate a molded sandwich.
Well, how did it taste?
It tastes good.
Okay, now watch this. Some people who never ate something rotten will say that thing don't have it has a certain type of taste to it because you're so spoiled by the seasoning. The rottenness will overpower the seasoning sometimes. You hear me? So what happened is these reptilians love rotted stuff. It's like a delicacy for them. Did you know that? They love rotted flesh. It's called in the animal kingdom. They call it carrion. Certain animals like to eat dead flesh. Wolves, hyenas, and the main one is the vulture.
Vulture.
You know what I'm saying? They don't like to eat. They'll eat fresh meat, but they prefer it rotten.
Yeah.
And we call that six ether. So these beings like to eat six ether flesh. And what happened is the Makasu said, the Pleiadians said, look, we're going to make sure that they eat foods that will cause that will be almost like rotten. You might not see it as rotten. You ever ate, okay, watch this. Cheese is rotten,
Yep.
It is.
but you love it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's what they call it, pasteurized, fermented.
Aged.
Yeah.
Wine is rotten. Did you know that? Huh? Because fermentation is a form of decay, right or wrong?
True.
Huh? But you drink it. So what happened is these beans love that taste. Whoever had a nice red wine, a Merlot, sit down, eat your dinner, and you just think nice little Merlot, and you sit there and like, wow. Remember when you first crunk it? You like it had a bitter taste to it, right? But then over time you start getting accustomed to it. It's the same way you eat it rotten flesh. You got accustomed to it. But these beings love it. The way you love that spicy chicken from Popeyes. Or that Zax sauce from Zaxby, you hear me? Or that KFC and that special sauce they got, that Mardi Gras sauce, you know what I mean? So these beings said, we're going to make a new being for you, and we're going to make sure they eat certain things that you will be attracted to. And this is why our master teacher said, don't eat their foods. Don't wear their clothes. Don't put on their smell. Because you'll start vibrating on this frequency, and this is what they like to eat. They can't eat they can't eat non-ether. Because you ate plain chicken. Would you keep eating it? You're going to want some flavor on it, right or wrong. So say that plain chicken was non-ether. You're like, I'm not going to eat it. This is how the reptilians look at it. I'm not going to eat it unless you put what?
Season.
And the season they want to pull it, they want six ether type season. So curry is one of them. They love curry. They love, you hear me?
Yep.
And when you eat curry a lot, you put yourself on the radar
That's right.
for something they like to eat. So now your human flesh is, think about this. Think about, it's actually seasoned. You know how you got to put stuff in the pot and stuff like that? You're eating the seasonings. And your flesh is becoming very pickled. You remember pickled eggs and pickled, what they call it? Pickled pig feet, and you put it inside the vinegar and let it sit.
Yeah.
And it has a certain type of tang to it. You hear me? You're seasoning yourself like you did in the pot or the cauldron. You know how big pot, which has pot, and you put your herbs and stuff like that. No difference. You hear me? And now you're eating foods that they're attracted to, and if they bite you, they say, "Oh, this guy tastes good." You hear me? This nigga tastes like Papa Dough. And Popeye. And this is what the reptilians are hoping for. And now the Caucasian have you eating their food. You go to a Italian restaurant, oh, I'm going to eat me some Italian food. Like, that sounds great. When you go to Italy, that shit's normal. You hear me? Let's go to an Italian restaurant. How that sound? Matter of fact, let's get some Jamaican food. And everybody says, oh, we're going to Jamaican spot. You see how that sounds? You see the ambience of that? But then you go to Jamaica, we'll get some Jamaican food. That's all they cook in the whole city.
Yeah.
You hear me? Let's get some soul food. I can get that at the house. Right or wrong. And soul food is nothing but slave food. The stuff that the master wouldn't eat. You just know how to season the foods that were bad, that you would never eat. Listen what I'm saying. You were eating soul food, but it's not really soul food. But the soul they were talking about was what? Your soul. Not the food. You were able to take something that was nasty and blame, put your own soul into it. Remember this, I had to put my foot in it? You hear me? And you did this thing and you was the alchemist. The alchemists. These are herbs and spices, and they knew how. It's like formulas. When you go to a pharmacy, they say I got to put a certain amount of this in, a certain amount of that in here to make this medicine. When we were doing the same thing at the stove, I put a little bit of this, a little of that, a little of this, a little of that. This is why everybody can't cook. You can cook the chicken, but can you season it? And some people have bad taste buds, or they just don't know how to season food. And what happened is you just took the formula or the recipe on how to season this food to make it taste good, and then you call it soul food. So you took shit and put pepper and salt, pepper and barbecue sauce.
It's a good point.
You hear me?
It's a good point because it was Father's Day,
Yeah.
and my son had bought me chicken and waffles from a
Did that son that just went to the back?
Huh?
That son that just went to the back?
Right here, my son.
Yeah. What's up, man? Long time no see, man.
And he bought me a chicken and waffles for Father's Day
Yeah.
from a vegan place.
Yeah.
And the seasoning was so profound that I thought they had accidentally gave me a real chicken sandwich. So I thought,
Yeah. Yeah, right.
I thought he actually accidentally gave me a real chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
Because the seasoning was so profound.
Yeah.
It wasn't the meat.
Of the bacon.
Yeah.
It's actually the seasoning, like you were saying.
Yeah.
You know, because they took the vegetarian stuff and seasoned it so well. I swore up and down, this was a real chicken and waffles.
Listen, the difference between vegetarian food and meat food, the only difference is taste.
And texture.
And you're using vegetation to season the meat food, but you're not. People finally start figuring out I can make the same taste over some salad, over some kale, over this, over that. Add some avocado to it, and then you got people who are so good at cooking they can make vegetarian food taste. Remember when we ate vegetarian food, we were eating string beans, peas, black-eyed peas. What's the other stuff? The other lentils. I mean, you can name all the stuff. It was like you ate your meat and you had your sides, which is your vegetables. You had to eat your vegetables. But they was making the vegetables like how they make the vegetarian stuff. Like, you know, when you got this gourmet type of vegetarian meal, I ain't gonna lie, the vegetarian stuff be tasting better than some of the meat stuff sometimes. And I like, you know, we didn't like to eat our vegetables. But when you got somebody who's the new generation, they're taking it to another level with the seasoning. And this is why a lot of people like Slutty Vegan and all these different Cecilia's and all these different vegan spots are blowing up because they're making this stuff taste like you at the steakhouse. You hear me? So let me get this real quick.